everyone, and thank you so much for accepting this invitation and for being with us today. The subject that we are going to address today is of very high importance for Moldova in this regard, and also for the regional level too. I would like to start this discussion with a short introduction of the Moldova situation, with the key indicators of our labor force, especially in ICT sector and in services sector. So I would kindly ask the technical team to give me the slides, if possible. Yep. So before we get the slides, I just want to make a quick overview of the subject that we are going to discuss today, because the economy across Eurasian countries faces a critical shortage of qualified specialists, particularly in the tech and service sector, somehow driven by the brain drain as professionals migrate to West. So this session will explore strategies to enhance skills development, create career development opportunities, retain local talent, and engage the diaspora. Additionally, we will address the impact of AI on the workforce market in the region. So, speaking about the Republic of Moldova's situation, according to the latest data published by the National Bureau of Statistics for the second quarter of the 2024, the labor force amounted 900,000 people, representing a decrease of 3.7% compared to the second quarter of 2023. At the same time, the employed population was over 800,000 persons, 3.8% less than in the second quarter of 2023. While the unemployment rate had a slight decrease by 0.5% and amounted 3.9% in the second quarter of 2024. What's the situation in the ICT sector? In the ICT sector, according to the latest data available, we have more than 33,000 employees. This was the data at the end of 2023. The ICT sector contributed 6.7% to the GDP in 2023. Out of this total, more than 24,000 employees are employed in companies which are residents of the Moldova Innovation Technology Park. And the annual average growth of people that are employed in Moldova Innovation Technology Park is representing more than, I have a screen here. That's good to know. And the annual average growth of people employed in the sector, especially in Moldova Innovation Technology Park, is representing 2,900 people. While the universities, the university graduates or the students that are going to be the part of this labor force is around 4,200 students in IT, both bachelors and masters. What's the situation in the services? Well, we have indicators from 2022, and the share of employed population working in services was 56.7%, quite big. The share of services in GDP was 58.8%. Moldova's service export share is the third biggest among its main competitors. So I guess from the data that I presented here today, you got an idea that Moldova is also facing this brain drain, because all the indicators in the IT sector, in the service sector, in the ICT sector mainly, faced a decrease in the recent years. We are also facing this immigration towards West, and today we are going to address the solutions of this situation at the regional level, and to see how can we together, using our private and public partnerships, address this challenge and prepare our specialists and our students for the challenges of the future. So again, thank you so much everyone for being part of this panel today. I would like to ask the first question to Ms. Irina Stamatovic, the right pronunciation. Ms. Stamatovic, could you please tell us, from a human rights and ethical perspective, how do you view the impact of brain drain on the tech and service labor markets in Eurasia? What strategies should governments consider to ensure that talent migration doesn't widen inequality in these sectors?
Good morning, everyone. I guess you can hear me. Thank you for organizing this, and it's a great honor to be part of this panel. Always a tough question to start with, so I hope I will wake you up with some perspectives. But I don't think coming from Balkans, I'm from Montenegro, is a great place to answer this question, because this is the same struggle that we have in both of the regions of Eastern Europe or Western Balkans, and brain drain is something that poses not only a great challenge for our economy, but great challenge for future generations and for general state in countries and in the region as well. But having that experience maybe puts me in this position to speak about it as something that is really realistic and really real, and something that, in a way, we all felt on our skin, maybe not in our own cases, but the cases of our friends, relatives, families, and so on. In that case, if we're speaking about our best friends, we always want them to have the best possible life they have and to reach their full potential. It's an easier road to pack one or two, or depending how much of a fashionista you are, suitcase, and leave the country. But to take the road less taken and to stay in your home country was quite challenging, no matter if we're speaking about either one of the regions. And now this is a comma, and after comma begins the truth. And with the development of the technologies and the fact that they are taking over, they are posing a great promise for retaining the local talent. The future of work is a term that I think we've all got ourselves familiar with, and the fact that the general worldwide labor market is changing, and technology-driven technology-driven AI revolution is changing how the work and labor looks like, and introducing freelancing, introducing the fact that you can, well, thanks COVID for that, but work from home concept is something that promises the retain here. As per the governments and what I've learned since I came here, the flat rate of tax and some things that you are doing here in Moldova are amazing and can be a great example to be used all around the region and retaining that talent. One more thing, and I'll try to be brief and use my proposed time, is you ask what it is like from a human rights perspective. And there are many levels, but let's stay, because of the time consumption, with the two perspectives when it comes to human rights. There is this legal perspective and the obligation of the states when it comes to human rights, and there is another very much important perspective on that, which is a value. If we are looking at human rights from the value perspective and we are accepting them as values within our society, then strategies like inclusion strategies, employing the the most disadvantaged, women and youth, opportunities in this sector, regardless of any category, but only your talent and your capacities, is actually the future of this. So I would conclude by saying that this technological revolution, even though it's a big driver for economy, it's a knowledge-driven and value-driven revolution, and it is something that we should be quite aware of. And if we're speaking about values, then we need to rely on the pillars of human rights.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I guess, this problem of brain drain doesn't need a validation. We all know, all the countries in the region know that this is a problem, and we have to address it, and we have to create opportunities to retain talent in our countries and to make sure that we use the issues and the challenges that we face and transform them in opportunities for the future generations. So thank you so much, and thank you for focusing on the fact that values and focusing on values, it's something important in government strategies. I would like also to invite our second speaker, Mr. Eugenia Danu, to speak about how organizations and the civil society can help and contribute to this creating of these opportunities to retain the local talent in the countries. And we are also inviting our support team to help us with the translation. Thank you so much.
Здравствуйте, добрый день, bună ziua, hello. Thank you, Olga, for your support for me, because my English in process. Thank you. Добрый день всем. Очень приятно быть приглашенными на такой интересной теме, хотя эта тема как раз-таки касается напрямую нас. Да? Как каждый из нас постоянно задумывается о том, как в нашей маленькой стране создать независимое, прогрессивное, не только будущее, но и настоящее. Как нам это сделать? Очень много вопросов, очень много проблем и препятствий для этого. Но мы хотим предложить практические шаги для того, чтобы стать прекрасной, свободной и прогрессивной страной. С людьми, которые остаются дома, с людьми, которые возвращаются из других стран в Молдову и строят свое настоящее и будущее здесь, в Молдове.
Good morning, dear guests and dear colleagues. My name is Olga Levitskaya. I'm Executive Director for ABSL Association. So it will be a pleasure for me to support the English traduction of Evgenia. Evgenia said that she is very pleased to meet you and to talk to you today. So nowadays we have a lot of how. The first how is about how could we support our country and how could we organize not the only future but the present time when our country can break through for a progressive, independent, digital and just happy, not only future but present too. How we could protect our population from the subject of our item of our panel, brain drain. Moldova was suffering a lot, and how we could give an alternative for our population instead of low quality job somewhere else, living here, paying taxes and being with their country, their family, and for some decent salary.
Давайте поговорим об ассоциации ABSL, которую мы с Ольгой сегодня представляем. Это международная ассоциация, если можно попросить слайд перенести. Да, спасибо большое. Если коротко, но очень о важных моментах нашей ассоциации, это международная ассоциация, которая представляет компании, занятые в сфере бизнес-услуг. И мы молодая ассоциация в Молдове, но с огромным потенциалом. И мы объединяем в себе пока что небольшую часть компаний в Молдове, предоставляющие эти услуги, но в будущем мы этим будем заниматься и увеличивать количество, и вовлекать, привлекать и приглашать все компании. Что такое ABSL? Или что такое бизнес-услуги? Или кто мы такие вообще? То есть это услуги, которые предоставляются дистанционно. То есть мы компании, предоставляющие IT-услуги, это услуги по организации логистики, это консалтинговые услуги, которые которые включают в себя и HR, и бухгалтерские услуги, практически все услуги, которые можно предоставлять удаленно. О чем это говорит? Это говорит о том, что находясь в Молдове, наши люди могут работать из дома, наслаждаясь жизнью, семьей, видя, как растут дети, радуясь каждому моменту, проведенному в семье, при этом зарабатывать очень приличные заработные платы и развиваясь сами в нашей стране и развивая нашу экономику. Если говорить...
Thank you very much. ABSL, it's an international association. It exists in a lot of countries, especially in Europe, as well as Central and Eastern and Western. Moldavian ABSL association is young, but with a huge potential. What you will see very shortly. What is this about? So ABSL regroup the members having this staff or organizing this stuff, working from Moldova. The principal idea is very simple. COVID and all the crisis taught us that it's possible now to do a lot of job a remote way. So our members have some staff working remote way from Moldova without leaving Moldova, without being separated with their family and so on. So they are working in Moldova, they're working for all over the world. It can be Europe, can be China, America, and we will have some examples about. They are not obliged to leave Moldova. They are working, they are paying the taxes here, and have some good salaries. So we will talk about it later.
Я здесь даже хочу добавить еще такой момент, что буквально вот даже вчера на выступлении наших коллег из Инвест Молдова мы узнали, что у нас сектор, BCC-сектор, да, заработные нашего сектора практически идут рука об руку с уровнем заработных уровней, с заработными уровнями в сфере IT, и составляют в 3-4 раз больше, чем уровни заработных плат, среднего уровня заработной платы Молдовы. Да. Поэтому здесь, то есть мы наглядно можем понимать, насколько это интересное направление и насколько это привлекательное для работников.
Just the introduction. So, the very freshly statistic coming from the panel yesterday, the salaries in BSS sector can be comparative now, can be compared with IT sector in Moldova, 3-4 times more than average salary in Moldova. So it's just a figure example proving what we said before.
Okay.
I understand you prepared the slides, the presentation, so I won't interrupt you. Just please go on.
Okay, thank you. Мы хотели бы еще затронуть с Ольгой и с коллегами вопрос о значении диаспоры в экономике нашей страны. Сейчас это очень актуальная тема. Очень большой объем работы ведется непосредственно нашими государственными структурами по работе с диаспорой. И мы видим в этом очень большое преимущество для нашей экономики и в принципе, и для нашей диаспоры в том числе. Что хочу отметить. Это все очень здорово. Идем в правильном направлении, делаются правильные вещи. Но есть один момент, как будто бы в середине чего-то не хватает. Да? Мы говорим нашей диаспоре, как здесь хорошо, насколько у нас приемлемые, интересные, благоприятные условия для жизни, для создания бизнеса, для инвестирования, для развития. Но как этим всем воспользоваться? И мы здесь приходим с конкретным инструментом, практичным, удобным. Мы можем быть каналом для того, чтобы все эти идеи и мысли реализовать. Мы можем быть, как ассоциация, посередине между диаспорой, которая готова делиться своим опытом, с диаспорой, которая хочет инвестировать в Молдову, с людьми, которые готовы вернуться, наработав опыт за рубежом, вернуться и жить дальше в Молдове, и не понимает, как это сделать. С диаспорой, которая хочет построить бизнес и, может быть, вернуться или на расстоянии вести его. И диаспора, которая, может быть, устала находиться за рубежом, делать низкоквалифицированную работу и хочет вернуться домой для того, чтобы развиваться, для того, чтобы строить карьеру по-настоящему, с высоким уровнем оплат в Молдове. Чем мы можем здесь быть полезными?
Super. Diaspora, very concrete information. Evgenia said that there is actually, this item is very, very well known, and we talk about a lot of all media talking about it. So it's very nice, but concrete way of integration, we are not sure that it's enough clear for diaspora. By the way, I was working 21 years in France, and I'm a representative of this diaspora being back. So our association presenting some special, very concrete channels. You can see it at the screen. So we are working by different directions: business, investment, knowledge sharing, professionals, workforce, and so on. So we replace just very nice and very important blah, blah, blah by very concrete way of doing and very concrete channels of collaboration with diaspora.
Мы уже очень долго говорим, надеюсь, вам было очень интересно. Давайте закругляться. И на завершение такими несколькими вишенками на торте пройдемся по практичным примерам кооперации, сотрудничества с нашей диаспорой и что нам это вообще может дать, да, как стране. Вот на слайде вы можете посмотреть пример, когда наши ребята, коллеги, ребята из Америки, которые приобрели там определенный опыт, открывают компании с рабочими местами, более тысячными компаниями и с заработными платами в Молдове, которые составляют от 2 до 3 тысяч долларов чистыми на руки. То есть можете себе представить, да, средний уровень зарплаты в Молдове и реальные заработные платы ребята получают, работая из Молдовы на внешние рынки. Я здесь уже не буду, да, говорить, сколько преимуществ это дает и для развития рынка, да, это обмен опытом и так далее, но факт остается фактом.
So, very concrete example about American diaspora. Principally, it arises from a sector of transport and logistics, but not the only. The last year, it was created 1,000 of working place in Moldova with average salary from $2,000 to $3,000. So. Just for illustration, what we were talking about, the concrete way of working with American diaspora gives the concrete fruits. So.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for the...
Мы здесь хотели бы немножко информативно показать сферы, которые покрываем, да. То есть все это входит в нашу ассоциацию, и мы сейчас находимся в активной агитации привлечения компаний, поэтому мы будем рады поговорить, пообщаться с любой желающей компанией, которая хочет войти в нашу ассоциацию, пользуясь случаем. Да? И на финал я бы хотела отметить, что мы часто получаем такие вопросы: а в чем проблема, если у вас так хорошо, если все так замечательно, почему не такой большой наплыв людей, которые все-таки хотят вернуться в Молдову, чего не хватает? Я бы хотела сказать, что сейчас у нас все хорошо, мы находимся на нужном этапе, мы делаем правильные шаги, и у нас будут хорошие результаты в этом плане. Единственное, что здесь важно обратить внимание, что тесная коллаборация, улучшение условий надежности, безопасности, как с точки зрения государственных организаций, которые очень интенсивно работают в этом направлении, и работа, коллаборация ассоциаций разных сфер и из разных направлений будет давать как раз-таки тот результат, что люди с большим доверием и с большим интересом будут смотреть в нашу сторону, в сторону нашей страны, и с большим интересом будут возвращаться и строить свои семьи здесь, в Молдове.
So we are crossing a historical moment, Moldova. You know all the autumn agenda, and we are crossing this very important moment. Our association is trying to give our hummingbird part share for this future and past and present development, and we are working with the government. We are working with other institutional status institutional. We are working hard. We will continue this direction, and we are sure that it will give the results for, as Evgenia said, progressive, independent, digital, and just happy future.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for this presentation. I guess, well, 2 points to mention here. The first one is that it's good to hear from a business association that you think that we are going in the right direction and doing the right things now, and we are quite at a good stage now for the development of our market. I'm going to also say that you described very well the situation with the diaspora and our people that are working and living abroad that are reconsidering to come back in Moldova and to find a job here. I was also part of the diaspora, well, for 2 years, but it seems like a whole life for me. You know, I know very well how is it to be back and to search for a job and to try to contribute to the change. The reason why me and other teenagers like me left in that year is that we were searching for for good opportunities, for better opportunities to develop, for better opportunities to create and grow your professional life and personal life, also the income and many other reasons. And the next question I would like to address is to Mr. Putina, linked to this to this, to what I just said, because I know that you are putting big effort to create opportunities and development of opportunities and to create opportunities for this brain gain in your company. Could you please tell us more about how you foster this innovation culture and development culture of your talent? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks everyone for coming. I know it's not obvious to come here in the morning, but thanks for being here. So probably I would have a bit a different perspective on this topic because many of us here would discuss about people and HR and so on and so forth. And of course, great people want to work with great people. So that's why we are investing a lot in capitalizing our know-how. And what we are doing is we are actually building groups called Studio inside Globant. And the Studio is mostly, I would say, a pool of expertise which is helping the company to develop and to boost and to create new knowledge around this specific direction. It could be around AI, it could be around a specific engineering practice, it could be around product development and so on and so forth. And everything is coming with the great support behind, so we are creating our own content to support the development, providing mentorship, and so on and so forth. But what's a bit new in the formula is the AI, which is kind of changing everything. And there are two ways of approaching it. It's either to be afraid of and like thinking I'm still safe in my job or not, or start partnering with the AI to do something. And of course, we are in the second scenario because Globant is investing in AI since I would say 10 years now, and it's not just after the boom with generative AI, but it's working on the foundation. And we are thinking about improving the lives of our people so that they could have more time to be relevant to the market, to invest in their learning path, as well as spend more time with the users of the products they're building and with the customers they're working with, right? And that's, a nice perspective to see ways of supporting the innovation. So first of all, to start thinking about something big, you have to clean up a bit the agenda. It doesn't make sense to think about, innovation and learning when you are booked for many months, as many of us are doing now, right? And to do it, we started to build different kind of tooling to support the productivity of our teams. So initially, it started by building different kind of tools around AI, either to support and to boost the development process, the testing, to support the product owners on different kind of activities, for example, generate mock-ups and so on, and to accelerate the process. And of course, that still helps our teams to be much more productive, and that's allowing them to spend more time on what really matters. And now we are even going at the next level. Just having tools, we said it's not enough. So we are creating so-called agents. So agents could be seen like an assistant in being very good at doing something, but autonomously, you see? So you could imagine like having a good development team working together with AI agents. Some of AI agents would fix bugs because no one really likes routine. And our agent is able to read the documentation, to read the code, and to see if something is really going wrong, propose a fix, and the development team will just have to accept it, eventually learn from it. And we are, going in this direction also on the testing part, the same on the product ownership activities and so on. And for me, that's a nice way of supporting the innovation. It's a nice way of helping our people to stay relevant on the market, which is a global market now. And I think having, this kind of programs with, the possibility of accessing nice projects, which are kind of from everywhere, and we are providing quite nice opportunities to work with big names on very challenging projects. Everything is supporting, people in a good way to have more freedom to choose. At the end, our goal is not to make them stay here in Moldova. So we want them bring, value. We want them bring options. And at the same time, we here in Moldova have to be attractive for them. And that's what we are doing. So we are helping them in many ways so that they could decide. Hopefully, some of them to stay here, some of them eventually to relocate, learn, come back. And all options are okay as soon as, personally is good and the businesses are going in the right direction as well. Yeah, there is much more to say, but probably we have a limited time here.
I'll get back to you with another question in a few minutes. It's really nice to know that in Moldova we have companies that provide these opportunities of development and such tools and working groups and mentorship and nice projects to work on. And I hope that the great people, as you mentioned, that are listening to us today in this room and online are already searching for a job in our company. Yes, but we, as the people that are interested to contribute, and we are not, working in some IT companies, but we have the knowledge and we have the ideas and we have the initiative, but don't know where to contribute. I guess Mr. Lieber can answer to this question and can tell us more about the National Digital Platform, the role that you play in mitigating the brain drain and creating opportunities for both local professionals and those in the diaspora. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, my name is Pavel, and I'm happy to be here. And actually, I think the audience in the morning of second day is the most engaged audience. And that's great because we're going to talk about engagement, seriously. So my background is IT, and since 2020, I work a lot in civic tech area, and we implemented lots of digital product to work with diaspora, and we implemented it for two cases, for Belarus people who left country after 2020, it's up to 500,000 people, and also for Ukrainian people who had to leave their homes after war started, and the goal was to support diaspora. And actually, our tools are focused on supporting diaspora, because it's great to have these programs of how to return people back. But let's be realistic, not everyone will be returned back. A lot of people will stay abroad, and it's great to have connection to these people. It's great to actually work with them. It's great to push them contribute back to motherland, because it's very important. It's actually crucial for Belarus, because there's just no other people, right? People who left were the most engaged, most pro-democracy, with great values, entrepreneurs, and we don't have any other people. We need to keep this connection to them, right? But it's a good question how to keep this connection, because when there is some emotional wave, when something happens, right? Protests, war, something like terrible, like everyone is connected, everyone is engaged, everyone is ready to contribute, but then this wave goes back, right? And we understand that it's really hard to motivate people to come to the digital platform, because they have their day-to-day routines, they're thinking about their day-to-day lives, they have local kindergartens, they have local schools. It's really hard to set these bridges to these people. And that's where digital platforms actually can help us. And I'm a big fan of technology. Technology is incredible, technology is amazing, but technology always goes second, because people goes fast. Right? Technology also should support some existing processes. And when we're talking about processes, let's think of how we can set up these bridges to diaspora, right? So you can't just say, okay, here is digital platform, come and contribute to a motherland, right? No one will come, no way. You can't say, okay, you all should be like proactive, social, you should understand that it's important, still no one will come. Right? So you need to set up relations. So, and that's why I'm talking about engagement, right? Because it's about relations. Just try to remember, like in mind your dates, right? Your first date, your second date, your third date. Probably it was something, it started in cafe, it started during some concert, in cinema, right? Something connected to culture, right? So culture is the first effective funnel of how you can invite your diaspora. And that's what we passed with both people from Belarus and Ukraine when we started to aggregate on digital platform events from their nations, like Belarus events, Ukrainian events, businesses, some exhibitions, etc., etc. People started come to collaborate together around this culture layer because it's neutral, it's understandable. Everyone liked to come to concert, to visit his favorite group, etc., etc. So we had video in the slide. So if there is a chance to play start inside this mobile phone, then probably we will see how it can work in real implementation.
Putem porni video?
Not sure if it will. Oh yeah. So no, thank you. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, so you see, so we, like being a person, I'm originally from Belarus, where I live in Lithuania since 2020. And actually having this platform and having mobile application and implementation, I can see different groups that come in my city. I can see different meetups, kids clubs, etc., etc. I become part of community. Community is a key here because when you build in this warm community by different interests, by different potential engagements, that can help you to bring people to a platform. And actually talking about our experience, we managed to invite more than 100,000 people in digital space, specifically from diaspora, to make sure that actually they are connected together. And it's just top of funnel to build this warm community. And our experience for 4 years is that you need to start it with very warm stuff, like culture, businesses, services, etc., etc., something that brings real value, because at the end of the day, it's always about some real value for people. Good, and we have next layers, but we will talk about that later probably.
Thank you. Well, 100,000 of people brought together. This is an impressive achievement. In what period, if you?
It's actually since 2020, and actually we were moving step by step because, look, we were passing this iteration. Initially it was, hey, let's invite everyone. Didn't work like so. Okay, so let's try to understand what we need to do to invite everyone. Okay, and after that some real processes start.
I see. Well, maybe that's a good idea also for our bureau for a relationship with diaspora to have such a platform and to make sure that everyone is included and feeling part of a community, of a broader community that also connects you with the homeland. Thank you. I'd like to get back to Ms. Stamatovic and ask what is your opinion on everything that was discussed today, and to somehow try to gather together all the information that was said today here on this stage, and tell us what is your opinion, what we should do to make sure that we can adapt and make sure that the talent is well prepared for the challenges of the future and for the new emerging technologies that are included in our day-to-day life, and of course, work. What should we do to make sure that we do not skip the train in this regard?
Thank you so much. Well, I said the first question was challenging. This one is even harder to answer. But we've discussed not only today, but also yesterday about bridging the gap and bridging the gap in skills. And we talked a lot about skills that are essential to strive in whatever field you're working on, and having AI as your co-pilot, as your assistant, as somebody who makes your life and work easier in order to achieve greater results. it also need to be seen from a wider perspective, when we need to think about it from a potential side, that it holds a potential not only for upskilling, but also for upskilling and reskilling. And I think if you include that idea into your perspective, it is about not only bridging the gap, but using the full potential. And I think it's what we are all talking about here. And since we are talking about skills, I'll try to briefly, if we understand this concept of skills, divide it into, as it usually is divided, hard and soft skills. So, artificial intelligence, digitalization holds a great potential for learning a lot of hard skills, and upskilling in that area is an amazing potential for all the overachieving goals that we mentioned in these 2 days. But there is a reason why we are sitting in a panel and I'm speaking to you, and not my generated voice through any platform. It's the soft skill side. And it is quite important to work on that aspect. Going back to the value perspective and going back to which pillars are ideas, which pillars of development we are basing our work on. We are implementing, as HELP, we are implementing partner of Helvetas in this big Reconomy initiative, which is a green and inclusive initiative, and has a lot of layers of this. It is funded by SIDA. And being a green and inclusive initiative, it is oriented specifically on these topics. Inclusive jobs in ICT includes this sensitivity towards women, youth, the most marginalized. We mentioned a lot of times leaving no one behind in upskilling, reskilling, and especially having as a pre-assumption of our work, our soft skills and our sensitivity towards those that are most probably being left behind, and having it as a part of our value system and our basis of development. So that's to wrap.
Thank you. And it's also interesting to know what's the Montenegro situation in this, in the market, how your labor force, how your workforce market is adopting to the new technology, and what people say.
Oh, well, there are various aspects that you can take a look at it, especially like perspectives generation-wise. And I think it's a quite socio-psychological thing. The openness towards AI being openness a personality trait and being something that is quite related to our psychology, it is something that will determine us in the future. Montenegrin society, unfortunately, is not open to the level where I wish it should be, but I'm a dreamer. So my utopist and delusional self is on another level than in comparison to reality. But still, we are on a good path, because it is becoming a reality, and it is either accepting it or staying this conspiracy theorists that AI is taking our job and being completely left behind. It is a necessity to make it part of our routine in order to be competitive. If you don't want to be competitive, if you don't want to go out into which is completely okay with me, if you don't want to compete, if you don't want to strive in your life, I feel sorry for you, but it's your decision. However, if you do, you need to accept it in order to make that process faster and better, and to use the entire potential. So that's experience-wise, but there is still some levels of not being open enough, having certain level of anxiety and not trust, and that's why we're on a trustworthy AI forum and conference.
Well, I guess Moldova isn't too far from you, and we are sharing this experience here in our country. Thank you so much. Mr. Pucina, Pentalog as a global company and as a company that, as you mentioned, collaborates with also big names in tech and have a lot of employees in different countries around the world. How do you see as a company this challenge of brain drain? Again, from a global company perspective, we are not talking about the Moldova's case now. And how do you collaborate, if collaborate, with other companies, international companies, to transform this situation, this challenge from brain drain to brain gain?
Yeah, quite a rich question, I would say. So, first of all, probably I would have to do a parallel Pentalog, Globant. So Pentalog is the company eventually better known here in Chisinau because it was founded in 2005. Overall, we reached 1,500 people. And last year we were acquired by Globant, which is much bigger company, having 30K employees in 33 countries. So, and of course, all those questions are at another scale at Globant now, and that's why, as part of our DNA, this part of people-centric approach is very important to us. So, for us, be kind is part of our value. You see, for example. So, and of course, there are many programs behind supporting this. It's not just something which is put in the slides. And for instance, there are companies each year supporting people for the go-to-school preparations. We've done this year as well here in Chisinau, but in fact, it's done everywhere in the world. And being, connected to society and supporting it in many ways, I think that's part of allowing people to connect to their local peers, so that they could see that so they have access to global opportunities, but they belong to a local community as well. So playing always at two levels, I think it's key here. And for allowing them having this freedom, so we're also implementing different kind of programs to support mobility, for example, so that everyone could eventually go in another country, work with a specific client in a specific team, learn new cultures, learn new ways of being, eventually becoming more inclusive as well, coming back and integrate what they've learned. So all this, I think, contributes to the local community as well. And also, diversity seems, and it's really a key differentiator here. So we've discussed with you like 1 hour ago. I think we are quite an exception, having some of our delivery centers with more women than men. That's quite, I think, unusual in IT. It wasn't really done by purpose, but probably our culture was attractive enough for women, and that's quite nice, I would say. And in terms of collaboration, so there are many directions we are addressing. First of all, I think it's important for the local market, the collaborations we are having with universities, with other local companies and IT companies to support the professional growth overall. And of course, I think it's important our collaboration and partnership with tech giants, I would say. So we should and we have to admit that they are kind of setting the trend. And it's better to be connected to the source. So that's why we are relying a lot on our collaboration and partnership with big firms like Google, Microsoft. Recently I've signed with NVIDIA. So probably AI and without NVIDIA doesn't really make sense nowadays. So all this is kind of reassuring also our people that we are going in the right direction. They have opportunities to learn from the best and to learn at the early stages, so that at the end they would have choices. So to stay here, to go to another country, to work on a bigger project, smaller, or from different regions.
Good. Thank you so much. Mr. Lieber, could you please tell us if is it possible to replicate the platform to other countries like Moldova, like other countries in the region, let's say Romania or Poland, and what should we do for that? The first part of the question, and the second part of the question, how your platform, if it does, contributes to the development of the remote work opportunities for professionals in these countries?
Okay, great question actually. And do we have clicker? I would switch for next slide. Oh, sorry, it's on. Okay, something happened. Good. I will start from second part, right? Because it's important. And you remember, we just created digital ecosystem. We collected people together. We built a community with diaspora. Everything goes great, events, etc., etc. And with high probability, in time, it will just die. Because you have operations, you have technology, you have expenses. Someone should pay for that, right? And you know, we're talking with different countries. We never hear something like, "Oh, we have so much money, we can like just bring it to community and like spend it widely to all our diaspora." Right? It's usually vice versa. So countries expect that community will pay back, and the diasporas will pay back. Right? So you need to make all this ecosystem sustainable, and to make it sustainable, you need to invite your diaspora to start to work on national projects that they need themselves. Because with high probability, government will not have money to support that. But we can create different mechanics, and we actually created and piloted them, of how it can work to make the system sustain. And like on the screen, there is one of mechanics. It's called participatory budget, and it's based on concepts that in Europe, a lot of countries has this charity tax as part of annual declarations, and I believe same in Moldova, because when I was sharing this story, I was hearing that in Moldova it's probably the same. When you allocate in part of your annual taxation to some charity, and you can choose organization.
Yeah, you can direct 2% of your taxes.
Yeah, then it's similar, right? So, and we said, okay, guys, like, you can allocate this money to like local country, or you can allocate money to some partners related to a nation. And you can come jointly and propose different ideas, and you can see some real ideas that were relevant for Belarus. It's like Kids Club, it's Digital Book of Fair, a lot of projects around kids, actually. And then you can jointly do the like public discussion, conversation, planning of budgets together, and when actually this budget will be allocated from government to this partners, then you will get this budget and you can implement national project. So you now are power yourself, right? You can actually fund something at your own without spending real money, because when we're talking about this taxation, this charity tax is usually mandatory, and that's only one of mechanics. And there can be different mechanics. It can be local crowdfunding platform where people crowdfund some small initiatives, like someone would like to print a book, someone would like to create some, I don't know, kid space, etc., and it's sponsored by people with horizontal lines because your community works, because you connected these people before. And then you can introduce next layer. That's exactly how this community can contribute back to motherland. We had concept of national programs. It's when government or government in exile, when we're talking about some countries, introduce some big programs like, I don't know, online medicine support for socially vulnerable groups of your nation, right? So you need to have platform, you need to have doctors, you need to pay them salary, you need to organize the process, and it's co-funded program between government, donors, and people. If people support that, and through public discussions comes that this idea is important. So that's why it's multi-layered pie, and actually starting from some small initiatives like crowdfunding, moving to some bigger initiatives like joint cross-country participatory budget events. You can come to these national programs when you can invite your diaspora to pay back, and you can organize it through digital tools, again, no matter where people are located, which is the most important component here. And answering to first questions, Yes, so such experience can be applied for sure, but as I said, technology always goes second. So it's needed to talk about real problems, real configurations, real setups, because it's always start with peoples and people processes, and only then it goes to technology implementation.
Thank you. Can we, as Moldovans, use your platform?
Actually, yes.
So
Yes,
I can
yeah,
log in?
There's no limitation.
Yeah.
You can even get, I don't know, free medical consultation. Or
That's nice to hear. I'll download the app and use it after this panel. Thank you.
Cool.
Good. We still have a few minutes left, so I would like to address a general question to all my panelists today. What is one thing that you would like our audience in the room and online to remember from your contribution and your opinion, your personal opinion on what was discussed today in this panel? One thing, one little conclusion. Who would like to start? Okay.
Yeah, I can start. Maybe I'm going in a bit different direction, but somehow is supporting what you're asking. So I would insist a bit on the what's next. We have discussed a lot around the progress we've been doing, and that's really nice. But what's next? So I think we should kind of agree that, to be able to support and to scale our progress here, we have some prerequisites. So what we've discussed about our fiscality and staying safe and so on, that's kind of prerequisite. So if we are touching that part of the package, I think we have big chance to lose it all. So that's kind of obvious. But there is something really important to be done to go to the next level, and I don't yet feel like we overall as a society really felt it. So to go to the next level, I think we didn't reach yet the critical mass. And we should do something in this direction. Having a community of 20-something IT people, it's nice, but that's not enough to reach the level we really need and to make a disruption from the, I would say, society point of view as well as economical standpoint. I see that 7 or 8% of GDP, it's nice, it's good, but it's not really where we should be in like 10 years. I think we should now start being much more ambitious and start thinking about building that critical mass which would really make a disruption, and that would eventually be transformed in let's say some unicorns, will be more product, we'll have more and more product companies, and of course we'll have a big impact overall. And to do it, that's the hard part of it, and for me I think we should target at least 100K to be relevant on the global market. Otherwise it's quite difficult to talk with big companies. So we should target at least 100K, which is really hard. But to do it, of course, we have to review a bit everything, including the educational system. Let's be fair, like 1K graduates per year is not really supporting enough in this direction. It would last like 60 more years to reach 100K ambition, right? So I think we should find a way to accelerate all this process, eventually more reconversions and so on. And we have a nice and very strong foundation. So everything, the government done until now is supporting us. Everything the association is been doing still, so it's really supporting, and we should find a way to scale it. I think we are really now at the scaling phase, or at least we should start it. Thank you.
But in the same time, we have to work on demographics, right? To make sure that we have these 100,000 people that are working in this.
Probably,
in this
or I know that there are a lot of people going, in Europe or US or whatever to study IT. Let's think about it. Eventually, to be more attractive for them, either for studying here or for coming back, or to make an impact, in another way.
Great, good, thank you. Ms. Irina, you will the next.
I will tend to be as brief as possible with the key takeaways. It is a very hot topic. It's a fast developing topic, and it's what gathered us here today, but in actually these 2 days. But I'm always on the less interesting side of this hot topic, which is ethical AI, inclusivity in this regard, and another not so hot topic, which is lifelong learning. When I was finishing my high school, if somebody approached me and told me you will spend all of your life learning, I would have been disappointed to the core, because I'm done with it, I'm going to work, and it's going to be different. Nope. Let me break it to you. The competitiveness, actually what makes you special is how much you invest and how much you are open and accepting and how much you invest in your lifelong learning processes. And that is why we're discussing the skills, and I think that is the key takeaway. And of course, going back to the values, going back to the bases and the pillars we build this society on, and among the strongest ones that we have inherited and we to incorporate into development of AI is the pillar of human rights and equal treatment and justice. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Lieber.
Cool, thank you. And for me, I work a lot in civic tech, sometimes in very different environments. And I would say that probably the most important thing for me personally that I would like to transfer to audience is never do serious things with too serious face. Because all great things happens with like smiles, with some engagement, with some empathy, etc., etc. And I always feel, when I work with different countries, I always feel the national spirit. And when national spirit is something between braveness, fun, craziness, etc., then everything will be great, trust me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ms. Dano, please, your turn.
My help.
Yes.
В следующем году обещаю говорить на английском.
Okay.
Ольга, спасибо. Важное мероприятие. Обсуждаем очень ценные темы, важные на сегодняшний момент. Я хочу поддержать каждого коллегу, который сегодня выступал, и поддержать идеи, которые финальные особенно звучали. Поддерживаю, подписываюсь под всеми этими высказываниями. И от себя хочу добавить, что бизнес-услуги, в том числе IT, это одна из сильных и интересных направлений к потенциальному развитию и сильному влиянию нашей экономики. IT – здорово. Молодежь уже настолько сфокусирована на IT, мы бы хотели расфокусировать и расширить их внимание не только на этом направлении. Мы сейчас, учитывая то, что видим все вакансии, которые есть на нашем рынке, нужда компаний заключается и в направлениях логистики, маркетинг, HR, аналитические позиции, связанные с базами данных. То есть все эти направления, они очень высокооплачиваемые в Молдове, и мы бы хотели привлечь внимание нашей молодежи, да и не только молодежи, ребят, которые готовы переквалифицироваться, присмотреться и к этим направлениям.
So it was a real pleasure for me to participate in this platform today, said Evgenia. And it was not just a pleasure, it was very important for our association and for Evgenia personally to be a part of this panel. Evgenia is sharing completely every speaker and every subject raised here, and is buying this. Just the final conclusion from Evgenia. Today is very important business services for Moldova. Sure, IT is very important. IT is enough development. Our IT sector is enough developed in Moldova, probably one of the first well developed. And today, Evgenia would like to focus out a little bit this IT sector, because it's very, this is the tendency actually at our market. And in order to avoid to create the next bump in the market, we should be very attentive that there is a lot of sectors missing some stuff and some working position, like, for example, marketing, logistic, HR, and this sector is very interesting. This sector can propose the offer, the good salaries and good positions. So let's try to keep in mind that not the only IT is important in our life, and not only in IT we can have a very comfortable salary. So let's be attentive to the other sectors and to other opportunities of the other sector, which is very important for development of our country. So all together with business services, sure, we will participate in the development of our society and development of our economical situation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dear all, thank you for accepting the invitation and for being part of this panel. And dear audience, I really hope that all of you got something for yourself to go home and to think about, some food for thought. Thank you so much, and have a nice day and fruitful discussions after this. Thank you.